Isn't it decadent to have someone else make your doctor's appointments? Isn't it unnecessary to have someone else order your groceries? These are some of the questions, and definitely not all of them, that I've gotten since hiring a personal assistant. I started working with a personal or an executive assistant a few years ago, and to be honest, I don't know what the right terms are. I just know that a few months ago, I was in a position where I felt like things were getting busy again. And I was talking to my right hand. She's like, don't you think it's time that we look for someone for you again? Because I had this in the past and then that didn't work out. So I started doing things myself again and working with a VA. And, our VA in the business, she was doing stuff for me. But then at a certain point, it was like, this, I could actually use a pair of extra hands. But I kept being stuck in like, isn't it ridiculous that I need someone for like half an hour to an hour a day to book hotels or flights or restaurants or send gifts and stuff like that? But my right hand, Caroline, she was like, you know what? It's not ridiculous. It's not too busy right now, but soon when you're traveling, it's going to be busier and you're going to be really happy when you have an executive assistant again. Again, I don't know what the correct terms are, but I do know that a lot of my, especially female clients, ask me questions about what does that PA do for you? So this is going to be a short and sweet episode where I walk you through what that PA does for me. And I'm also going to link you literally the text that we wrote out of the tasks that she was going to do and what we were expecting, like the type of person that we used to go and hire someone. So if you're also in the market looking for a personal assistant, you want some help, but you don't know what's possible or where to get started, this episode might be exactly what you need to discover how you can get a PA to work for you as well. Hello, and welcome to Fail to Win, a show where we love to make mistakes and learn from them so you can turn your passion into profits and live life on your own terms. I'm Amy van der Putten from FastForwardAmy, your host and coach, and I'll bring you a new episode with simple strategies every Tuesday. Let me start out by saying that as women, especially, I think we still, I don't know if you're like me, but when I grew up in a fairly stereotypical family. I saw my mom support my dad a lot. She also worked, but she still was in a fairly supportive role, very caretaking role towards me and my brothers. I became sick as a kid, so my mom actually had to stop working to take care of me and my little brother because we were so ill. So my dad was the provider, my mom was the caretaker. So I grew up with a very, very stereotypical image of what that looks like, and it also really suits them. But then all of a sudden, I grew up and I became FastForwardAmy. I'm a very caring person, but I am also like a business owner to the core and busy and stuff. So for the longest time, and this started when I was still in school and also running my fitness studio, I struggled with the fact that I was a woman and I wasn't good at just like the household stuff or thinking of all of the little details and stuff, and I was much better at making money. And I really didn't like thinking about all of the practical things I need to organize. So at a certain point, I broke through that by allowing myself to hire a cleaning lady or cleaning help when I was still really young and I was still in school, but I was just also busy because I was running my business. I've talked about this before, but just making that decision when you're 21 is really weird because no one gets a cleaning help at that age. But I broke through my limiting beliefs and I just calculated the opportunity cost. I was like, okay, if I can make 50 euros an hour, I pay her 10 an hour, then I'm saving myself time. She's doing a better job than I am. And I'm basically making 40 an hour. So a few years later, in your business, you start outsourcing, you get a copywriter, you get a right-hand person, you get someone for systems, you hire a salesperson. And especially as female CEOs, we're fine doing all of that at a certain point. You learn to let go, you learn to delegate. This is not easy, but you do what you need to do. See my previous episodes if you want to learn more about that. But then it gets to the point where you have your personal life and you have flights to book and you have gifts to buy and you have drivers to look for or car maintenance to do or your email inbox or groceries to deliver or to order. And it might get to the point that at the end of the day, you close off the business stuff, but then you're still stuck with a lot of life admin stuff. And at a certain point, I realized, and I did this in the past, but then I was by myself again, and then now I rehired someone because I realized it's just a waste of my time to do that, because if I can save half an hour to an hour every day or even every week, that is time that I can either put into my business, or I can put it into my self-care or my relationship or my house, or just like feeling better. And if it's not unique to me, I don't necessarily have to do it. So I made up this, what's it called? Opening? In Dutch we say vacature, vacancy? Something like that. And it includes a list of things that I hired my assistant to do. So I'm going to walk you through it, and I'll also share the document with you. So managing my daily personal inbox, so emails that I need to follow up on, stuff like that, flagging them, organizing it, deleting it, what I don't need. Managing my calendar, opening up call slots for clients who need to book in something with me, just like the systems I need for communication, for example. Ordering things for me, groceries, office supplies, personal stuff. Looking for options for hotels, flights, restaurants, event locations. Looking for the best price, booking these after conferring with me, being the contact person for email, via email, for insurances, for my cleaning help, for renovations, booking in appointments, maybe even appointments like the hairdresser or my nails. Literally, when I sat down with my PA, one of the first things she did is she sat down, she looked at my hands, she's like, "What about your nails?" Because my nail tech had just moved across Europe. And she's like, "Do you need someone new for your nails?" I was like, "Yes, I do." And she got someone to come to my house. So now I have someone come to my house to do my nails. And then it's a virtual role that I have, but what we also added was sometimes you're also available to support at a location, for example, coming to my house once a month or something to organize receipts and papers and invoices, or maybe coming over when we have podcast recordings or hosting an event. And it also stated that sometimes my team could also request bookings or orders. But to be fairly clear, I've really avoided this time around with this new personal assistant that my team also gets to ask her questions, because I really wanted her to myself. So she currently works 1 hour a day for me. This is very flexible. Sometimes it's a little bit more. For example, when she comes to my house, obviously it's a little bit more. But every day she checks my inbox. If I have to make a dinner reservation, I'll ask her. If I have to make a doctor's appointment, I'll ask her. This morning, I realized my belt buckle, like I was missing holes in my belt buckle. I literally asked her, "Can you get me one of those little things that punches holes in my belt?" And I know this sounds ridiculous, but you have to think. I manage over 400 clients. I am a big family person. I have a lot of friends. I travel a lot. I have so much going on in my life. And I often feel like I'm the person managing it all. In my family, in my friend group, all of it. And it is so incredibly valuable to have someone by my side who's supporting me very, very specifically. So that's also how we created this job. We said we want someone who's caring and who loves getting shit done, who works very self-sufficient, who works efficiently, who's discreet. You are flexible. We said you need to be able to communicate in a very direct and professional manner. You need to be able to write Dutch and preferably also English. Last week, I had to communicate something in French. My assistant just took it over. In the world of ChatGPT, I don't know if she speaks French or not, but she did that perfectly. And then we just also said, ideally 5 days a week, you can work 1 hour a day. And we were very, very clear from the get-go that this was an extremely flexible role with all kinds of tasks like this. Now, I'm really satisfied with my assistant, and I'm also discovering that she's pretty good at finances. She is very smart and she can really research stuff for me. So I'm slowly getting her into more of my finances, getting her to manage some of the communication with my accountants. And slowly I'm giving her more and more responsibility. And again, sometimes it's just a 5 to 10 minute task, but every time you are distracted and you need to do a 5 to 10 minute task, it's not just that you have to do that 5 to 10 minute task. It's also that getting back to what you were doing takes you a really long time. So I am loving this. And if we're being like really straight up about this, let's imagine you have an assistant. I'm not going to say what her rate is or who she is, by the way. But let's imagine you hire someone for 60 euros an hour. And this is for people who aren't working by themselves anymore. Probably this is for someone who's a bit further along. 60 euros an hour, 5 days a week. That's 300 euros a week. Times 4 weeks, that's 1,200 euros a month. I know this is a lot for a lot of people, especially if you think about the fact that you can do all of that yourself. But you don't have to. So I always tell my clients, you can give birth by yourself, but do you want to? I don't want to. I want a lot of help when I'm giving birth. I'm not pregnant, by the way. And so, sure, that's a lot of money I'm spending on this every month. It's also a lot of money that I spend every month on my personal trainer, to be fair. But I think just being able to let go and asking yourself, what is my time worth? What is my energy worth? Is that 6 euros an hour? If that takes away from your sex life or from the attention you can spend on your kids or the fact that you are or aren't sending flowers to your friend who just lost their grandpa because you have an assistant who can take care of that shit for you, what is that worth to you? And if that time and energy frees up, could you be in a position where your energy is so much higher that you might actually be more in a sales state and where you can actually scale your business much faster? Outsourcing content, outsourcing personal stuff, things like these can save us hours and hours each day. And I think that many, many, many more female entrepreneurs should open themselves up to receiving help like this, and that it doesn't mean that you're a bad woman, because this is very much a thing. If you read those romance novels that I'm always reading with the billionaires, they all have a PA. They all have it. They all have someone who's paying their bills and who's booking flights and everything. And we all think that's normal. But when it's a woman who has a PA, it's weird. So I don't agree with that. And I think this is one of the secrets that can unlock your next level of success. So what am I going to do for you? I'm going to give you my list of stuff my PA does for me. And just basically the general, what is that called? Vacancy template? Let me check with ChatGPT. What is this called? I think it's vacancy. Yeah, job posting template, job description template, job vacancy template. Yeah. So whatever that is, I'm going to give it to you. Let's see. What am I going to call it in ManyChat? PA tasks. PA tasks. DM me PA tasks. So P of the word penis, A, and then tasks, all one word. So that's personal assistant tasks, PA tasks, all one word. DM me that on Instagram. No one will take me seriously after this episode. DM me that word and I'll send you the task list so you can get some inspiration when you want to hire someone like this from my own job vacancy template, okay? And I'll also link it in the description. And if some of what I said resonated with you, it might be that you're currently scaling and you're just not surrounding yourself with enough people who also delegate enough, outsource, and it might be time for you to embrace that CEO role more, also as a female CEO. So you might be a fit for one of my masterminds. There's not a lot of spots left, but we currently have a retreat coming up. In the one mastermind, the other mastermind, we have a physical workshop coming up. So if you're interested in joining me, you want to see if you can get coached by me, maybe you're at 100K, maybe you're at a couple 100K, maybe you dream of having $1 million business, but you don't know how to build it without losing yourself along the way. Let me help you. I'd love to be your coach. Simply DM me mastermind on Instagram and let's have a personal conversation. That's not automated, by the way. If you DM me mastermind, I'll just get a notification that you DM'd me so I can't lose your message. And let's chat and let's see if maybe I can be your coach and we can scale and level up together. Okay, talk to you soon. And next week, there's a new episode. Bye.